When did Daniel Jones turn into Colin Kaepernick? When did that happen? Did that happen just last weekend?
I don't.
Is that what
I don't
happened?
know. I went back and watched. We did 48-22 early in December, and I went back and looked at that game just to see where this evolution, started. How far back did it go?
Right.
Has it been just like overnight? And there were little flashes of it. There was a couple of drives where, Philadelphia got a lot of pressure in the pocket. He slid, he climbed, he moved a little bit, extended, threw the ball. They played quick on a couple of series, and he was really, really efficient. And then he had a couple of really important runs, just really, really well-timed run calls by Mike Kafka and Brian Dable, and did a really, really nice job with him. So you could see kind of the beginning of that, but nowhere near the consistency that he showed in the Minnesota game.
He was terrific. I mean, he was dynamite. I mean, and especially since, the Giants give up a touchdown to start the game, and then the first snap for the Giants offensively is a hold, and they're deep in their own end, and they're you can't even call it behind the sticks. They're way behind the sticks, and they overcame that thanks to Jones's throwing and Saquon's running like it was nothing. And I'd be concerned if I'm the Eagles coming off their bye, Daryl, to be very honest with you.
They did not look good in that last game in Week 18. And, you can say all you want to say about, how the Giants approached it. And, Jalen Hurts is, he's getting in. He's going to knock the rust off. That did not look like the same Eagles team from December 4th. And, that's the big thing. It was not just Jalen Hurts. I mean, all those starters were there. They played their starters deep into the fourth quarter. And, Davis Webb was moving the ball at times. They were running the ball effectively with guard, center, guard. That is not going to be the starting trio this weekend. So there's some things when Philly watches that film. It's not the fact that Jalen Hurts might have been a little bit rusty and in his words said, we were good enough. And that's all you needed to be Week 18. Well, guess what? In divisional round, you're going to have to be much more than good enough. And I don't know if it's just one isolated thing. I think there's more than a couple of things there that just looked a little bit out of sync. I think Isaiah Hodgins has been, huge. That was the one thing we saw in the 48-22 was kind of his coming out party. And he has just grown immensely over the last 5 weeks.
And again, when you refer to 48-22, you're talking about the previous time that the Eagles just curb stomped the Giants, and then the second iteration was a little bit closer, and now comes a playoff game, Moose, between these two teams. What is going to be the key here for the Eagles to take care of what I think hounded Cousins, and he was able to still move the football, throw the football against, but those two monsters in the middle for the Giants on defense, and Dexter Lawrence and Leonard Williams. What do you think about that one right there?
Yeah, they've been playing really well. Kayvon Thibodeau's really grown. Kind of the last 4 or 5 weeks of the season really found his niche there in that defense as well. The secondary's healthy. That was the other big thing in the first matchup. They had a lot of backups on the back end, and there was a couple of explosive plays, and that's really what it was that first go around. So I think the biggest thing is Jalen Hurts has to get off to a really good start. Nick Sirianni's got to get him out, get him comfortable, give him a couple of quick, easy throws. They were in a lot of empty in that first Week 1 matchup and kind of went down the field with just a short, quick passing because New York was getting some pressure at that time. I think it's going to be critical for Miles Sanders, Boston Scott to be good in the run game. They have to be able to threaten New York with the threat of the run because I think when that offense is really it's really functioning at a high level, you have the threat of the Jalen Hurts run. And I don't know, is that going to be a part of that? Do we feel comfortable enough to put him out there and expose him to that? Because that was huge in that first matchup on third down in the red zone. It was Jalen Hurts running the ball. It was extending drives. It was giving them the opportunity to score touchdowns. So I think just getting him off to a good start, getting him into the flow of the game, and then how much run do we get to see from him? Whether it's scramble, whether it's called quarterback runs, how comfortable is the Eagles offensive staff at exposing him to a big hit?
And then, of course, Eagles fans would say, hey, Daniel Jones looked great, and so did Saquon, but the Vikings defense isn't in the same area code as the Eagles defense. How do you see that matchup?
Yeah, I think that there's merit there. I really do. But but I tell you, this offensive line has gotten better and better and better. We had him in the opener, or I think week 2. We had him in week 2. And, the big concern was, the inconsistency through training camp of being able to establish that starting 5, especially guard, center, guard area, lots of injuries. The wide receiver position was not addressed in the offseason, and where are we going to be there? And you look at the evolution of the offensive line, and you look at the evolution in the emergence of some of these players at the wide receiver position, and they are night and day from what they were early in the season. So, yes, the Philadelphia defense is much stouter than Minnesota's was, but this offense is much better than it was the last time Philadelphia saw them. So I'm excited to see, and that's take away Week 18. There was no Daniel Jones, no Saquon Barkley, no Andrew Thomas, no Evan Neal. They're going to see a team that's extremely confident right now. And the 2 big question marks on the offensive side of the ball played extremely well against Minnesota. This is a tougher challenge, but I think it's going to be really interesting to see, because I really feel that matchup's going to be a lot closer than that Philadelphia defense is expected.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.